one.
Good afternoon. The Committee on Water and Land is on its hearing notice of Wednesday, February 17th at 1 p.m. in our large conference room 229, and as well on video conferences. And the chair would like to recognize that Senators Keith Agaran and Senator Favela are on Zoom as well in attendance, and Senator Misalucha and I are here present. Chair would also like to welcome those on Zoom and this meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to the viewing options for all of our Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. In the unlikely event that we have abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the Water and Land Committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business at 1 p.m. on Friday, February 19th in this room and on YouTube. And let me say that we hope this will not happen, but a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website if this hearing has to be canceled. And for those participating remotely on via Zoom, the testifier audio is muted and the video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. And note that the time limit per testifier is 2 minutes. And members, let's proceed then on our agenda today. SB 1404, this is relating to Honokahau Small Boat Harbor, and this establishes a working group to manage the Honokahau Small Boat Harbor with the oversight and assistance of the Division of Boating and Ocean Recreation of the Department of Land and Natural Resources. The working group dissolves on June 30th, 2026, testifying for DLNR, Megan, or whoever represents the agency. Your turn. Aloha. I see you, Megan. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Chair Inouye, Vice Chair Keith Agaran, and committee members. My name is Megan Statz. I'm the Assistant Administrator for the Division of Boating. We submitted our written testimony offering comments on this measure. We do have one small addition to add, if we might. We just wanted to let the committee know that we just hired a new Hawai'i district manager that started yesterday, so he will be there to oversee the management of the Honokahau Small Boat Harbor moving forward. Thank you, and I'm here for any questions if you have any.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy that you're able to at least replace the long overdue vacancy. And we're happy to have him on board as well for the region. Thanks so much. We do have a testifier for comments only. There were no opposition, 3 comments, and 1 is support. Members, any questions of DLNR or Megan? Okay.
Sure.
Senator Misalucha.
Just wanted to, Megan, help me understand. So in the DLNR's viewpoint, this is not a necessary bill? Is that what it is? Because there's already, in your testimony, you said something that this would subject the department to Chapter 92, which requires additional compliance.
Yes, that's correct. So we've been operating the Honokahau Working Group now for about 2.5 years. And they've been really helpful in just trying to figure out what to do with some of the lands that we have. If we put this in statute, then it subject us to sunshine, which we would have to do further requirements and then minutes and the whole 9 yards. And we have our district manager that's now in place. So we're going to continue to do the Honokahau Working Group and have everybody work with our new district manager as well.
So as far as you're concerned, this is redundant?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then to add on, Megan, this is Senator Inouye. So you're saying that the working group that was formed several years ago, when you talk about working group, is the one that has already been in place?
Yes, that's correct, Senator.
Is that a continual working group? I mean, have they been part of the discussions with Hanakahau staff up until now?
Yes, the Honokaha Working Group has been working with myself, our administrator, our deputy, Bob Masuda, our property management, and it basically has a number of constituents from variety of commercial operations to recreational boating. So they've been really, really helpful in just providing some good input.
Okay, then to follow up, if the committee decides for discussional purposes just to move along this measure 1404, then your requirement would be then to reestablish a new working group. If the bill passes. Not by committee, but going forward, if this measure passes, will this start a new working group then?
If it did move forward, I believe that there would have to be a new working group that would be created.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Megan. Deputy Masuda, did you want to offer any comments?
Trying to unmute. Chair, just to inform you that since we started this working group, we have involved our Senator Kanuha from that area, and also Representative Lowen, as well as our council person on the Hawaii County Council, have all been kept posted. Many times their staff have attended on their behalf, and so they are actively on our roster for the working group.
Okay.
We have made sure that we have legislative involvement in this working group from the very beginning. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Members, if there's no other questions, let's proceed with SB 572, and this is relating to aquatic resources. This specifies that any equipment, article, instrument, aircraft, vehicle, vessel, or business record used in violation of the aquatic resources law is subject to subject to forfeiture. Authorizes the imposition of a criminal fine. It clarifies that the fine structure may be assessed on a per specimen basis, makes violations of the aquatic resources law a misdemeanor rather than a petty misdemeanor, permits the DLNR permits the DLNR to recommend community service that benefits the resource damaged when a person is ordered to form community service in lieu of fine. Jason, for DLNR or anyone in the office, to add to SB 572.
Yes, good afternoon, Chair and committee members. Jason Redula, DLNR's Enforcement Chief for the department. We'll stand on our written testimony providing comments, and we'll just point out that in our testimony, we do make recommendations for proposed amendments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see. We do have Dexter Denver Saxton Kuhn testifying for Ocean Tourism Coalition in opposition. Denver, are you with us?
Yes.
Aloha.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair. Ocean Tourism Coalition would stand on its written testimony with the suggestion that they add the amendment to slightly narrow the scope of the bill. It seemed like a lot of the testimony was revolving around illegal takings, poaching, which we're certainly against. And we think by narrowing the bill with that suggested language, that it would also, wouldn't lead to any unintended consequences.
Okay, so you're saying with your suggested amendment, then you'll be, it's okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've been working, I think, on the House too. They added a state of mind requirement. And then I think they added, we suggested the alternative language after we heard the testimony. I haven't seen a version of that bill just yet, but we are working with them just to make sure that, again, the bill doesn't have any of those larger unintended consequences.
Okay, thank you, Denver. Also, Zachary LaPrade, is it LaPrade or LaPrade?
It's actually LaPrade.
LaPrade,
Sure.
and you're testifying for Calypso Charters?
We support the testimony of the Ocean Tourism Coalition and Federal Fact. Thank you.
You're part of the group. Thank you. Proceed.
We support the testimony submitted. That's all, Chair.
Oh, okay. Let's see. We do have four supporters as well. Members, any questions? Okay, hearing none, then let's proceed with SB 795. And this relates to the small boat harbor fees, and this amends the various fees DLNR may charge for the usage of small boat harbors, amends how those fees are applied. Megan, are you speaking on behalf of DLNR today on this measure?
Yes, I will, Senator.
Thank you.
The department stands on its written testimony strongly supporting this measure. Just a side note, we have been in conversations with OTC yesterday and today regarding some possible language change for the commercial passenger fee. And I believe that either Denver or Zach could probably add a little bit more information for that. I'm here if there's any questions.
Okay, thank you. Let's see.
I have a quick question for Megan, Chair. Oh, you want?
Okay, Senator Misalucha, Megan has a question for you.
Oh,
Or
me.
to whom?
Yeah, Megan. When was the last time we reviewed the fees? And the last time we adjusted the fees?
We have adjusted mooring fees November 2019 by appraisal. The commercial fees, we're looking at a different venue, and you can see in this particular section, and it adds, which we have not done before, it adds a per passenger fee. And the reason why we were doing that is we have found that a number of commercial operators have created various tour companies. So they would say that they charge $100 specifically for to go out on the boat, and the tour company would take about $50 of that, and the other $50 would be reported as gross receipts. So what they've been doing is kind of splitting the gross receipts so that the state wouldn't receive
The full
as
amount?
much revenue as before. So that portion of this section is new.
I see.
Yeah, but
In
I
your
can see it
estimation,
here in her
does
testimony.
$3 per passenger fee, would that be more impactful to tourists, or would there be local families who will be adversely impacted by this?
I should say
I think it depends. It could be either. I think we definitely get a lot of tourists, but there definitely is local families that do go out. One of the conversations we had with OTC is possibly changing that $3 to $1.50, and that would help some of the other tour operators that only charge between $50 and $100. So it would balance out with the 3% of gross receipts as well.
Megan, have you explored having a separate fee structure for locals and then another fee structure for tourists? And again, this is post-COVID, because right now it's almost like a moot point, right?
Yeah, we have been in discussions with our attorneys about resident and non-resident fees, and they have told us repeatedly that we can't make that distinguishing factor between resident and non-resident for our fees with our small boat harbors.
I see. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. And I do want to add, members, that the agency, and the first testifying list that we received on the new addition amendments, the department do recommend that the fee structure be changed from $3 to, I think, $150. Yeah, and that's going to be part of the recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, Denver, comments?
Yes, we agree. We talked with the department. We believe that the $1.50, I think, solves most of our problems without causing too many other problems. The only thing that OTC would like to add is that right now the gross receipts, we just reconcile everything at the end of the month, and we would expect the same under this, even with the per passenger. So you'd get to the end of the month, you'd look at your gross receipts, times that by 3%, and then you'd compare that when you take, you know, the number of passengers you took out for the month times the $1.50, you see which one is greater and you pay whichever one was greater. So we would just, you know, continue with the same end of the month reconciling.
Okay, thank you, and I would assume that the rest of the testifiers were in opposition, so if they understand that we will be recommending some changes in the fee, that will probably change as well. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 in opposition. Members, any other questions? Otherwise, let's proceed with SB 791, and this is relating to vessels, and this clarifies removal of unauthorized vessels on state property or in the waters of the state. This clarifies the definition of an abandoned vessel as well. It reduces the time limit to claim an unauthorized vessel that is impounded by DLNR from 30 days to 10 working days. DLNR, Megan, are you here again on this SB 791?
Yes, thank you, Senator. We stand on our written testimony in strong support of this measure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And who's speaking for the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition? Okay, then we do have for that measure, we have 2 in support. Any questions or answers, members? Otherwise, let's move on then to SB 1162, and this relating to forest stewardship, and this clarifies the conditions that must be met by applicants to receive funds under the Forest Stewardship Program. For DLNR, David, are you speaking today?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for being here.
Excuse me? Yeah, good afternoon, Chair Inouye and Vice Chair Keith Augeron, members of the committee. The department submitted written testimony and strong support for this bill as an admin bill, and we're available if you have any questions. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. We do have another person in support of this measure. Members, questions? Okay, we're then moving on to SB 1165, and this is relating to ocean recreation commercial permits. This authorizes DLNR to issue new ocean recreation commercial permits by public auction. DLNR, Megan again.
Thank you, Senator. The department stands on its written testimony strongly supporting this administration measure. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Zachary Laprade. Zachary, are you going to speak on this measure, SB 1165?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor, Chair, Vice Chair. Thank you for hearing me. We are testifying in strong opposition to this measure today. Ocean Tourism Coalition has traditionally opposed the auctioning of permits categorically. We recognize that the DLNR has tried to limit the auctioning of permits to only new permits issued, not applying to older or established permits. However, we were able to come up with a number of scenarios under an interpretation of the statute that an existing going concern could possibly subject to auctioning of their permits in the future, which we think discourages long-term employment and a number of other benefits of being able to have the confidence you're going to be able to operate every year and grow your business. With that, we'll remain on our written testimony, and thank you.
Okay, Denver, are you going to speak on this measure, SB 1165?
I would just like to support the OTC testimony and maybe add that, some of the scenarios that we're thinking of is, a lot of the boats, let's say on Maui, you have your commercial use permit for Lahaina, and then you go to these other snorkel sites around the island. So while I believe those permits wouldn't be subject to commercial use of the commercial auction of the permitting, but there's always certainly the case that the department may create more and more new areas, especially, as things go forward to manage these areas, and many of those snorkel spots could be subject to the commercial permitting. So while you could operate out of Lahaina with that permit, you may not be able to go to many other places. So we're just thinking of scenarios that it just makes running a business and keeping that investment for the future very difficult.
Okay. Thank you. We received testimonies, 2 others in opposition. Members, question on SB 1165? Seeing none, then let's proceed with SB 1180, and this is relating to the state boating program. This clarifies that DLNR may lease an existing state boating facility in part or in its entirety without the need for prior legislative approval. Also amends Chapter 76 of the HRS to allow a private partner under contract to assist the department with administrative support services such as vessel slip management, maintenance, and monitoring. Chair recognizes DLNR. Megan, are you speaking on behalf of the department?
Thank you, Chair. The department stands in strong support of this administration measure and here for comments.
Okay, let's see. We do have testimonies as well, one other in support and the other in opposition as well. And Chair would like to recognize we do have late testimony from HGA in opposition. Members, any questions to the department or anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, then let's proceed with the last item on our agenda for today, SB 1182, and this is relating to the Kokee State Park Advisory Council. I think we're on 1182. DLNR. Do we have?
Good afternoon.
Kurt Cottrell, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Proceed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, mahalo, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Kurt Cottrell, Administrator for the Division of State Parks. This is Kokee State Park is one of the oldest and most venerated state parks in our system. It was created in 1952, so she turns 70 next year. And the Kokee Advisory Council did a really awesome job 6 years ago helping us go through the logistics and prepare the final master plan and EIS. And for about the past 6 years, there's been a hiatus. And this is one of those administrative housekeeping measures that we think is really pertinent. And it ties in with a lot of our other initiatives. And having a council that's just kind of static and you have a puka and you got to fill it just because the statute says you do, I think is kind of an antiquated way for us to do community engagement. And I want to assure people like my colleague Chipper in the screen next to me that this in no way, shape, or form is an intention to limit community engagement. But in fact, with the Kauai Leaseholders Association, which is 30 years old, Hui Olaka, equally old and venerated, and then new organizations possibly have popped up, we're looking forward to moving forward as we try to implement elements of the plan with engagement that is now more robust and flexible than just having this static body that we have to reappoint and refill. So in a nutshell, that's what this measure is all about. Mahalo.
Thank you very much, and thank you. I know it's been challenging times over the years, but so happy that with the volunteerism of the community there, they've all come a long way, and thanks for their support as well. Chipper, are you there? I see your background. Aloha, welcome. Chipper Wickman.
Aloha, and mahalo for the opportunity to testify on this. And I've served on the advisory council from its inception, 2 consecutive terms, appointed by nominated by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. So I'm very familiar with it. I'm currently the president of the Kauai Leaseholder Association. And I also want to say that I've worked for decades with state parks, very, very successfully in the implementation and care of Haina State Park on the North Shore. So I understand and know intimately what a good working relationship can look like with state parks. And it's been frustrating to all of us, including in my testimony, I quoted Kurt. It's been really bewildering why the Senate has not confirmed any council members over the last 5 years. And that has effectively killed the council. We can't hold meetings if we don't have any members. So I've been discussing with Alan and Kurt, and we believe that it's probably best interest of the state parks as well as the community to proceed with a voluntary, non-legislatively appointed advisory council to work with Kauai, similar to what we're doing in Haiana. We think that'll kind of streamline things and set it up for a long-term successful relationship. So I'm in support of this bill, subject to amendments to ensure the intent of Act 223, because the role of the council was far more than just implementing the master plan. So we need to make sure that the state parks continues to work with the community to advise and assist in the management of the recreational leases, the education and cultural awareness of the community for the parks, and participate in the preservation and protection of the natural and cultural resources, and advise and implement in the implementation of the master plan. And that's a really, really key point I want to emphasize is, as the state moves forward with many of the improvements envisioned in that plan, it needs strong community support. And we stand as a body to help do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Good timing. Members, SB 1182, the last item, any questions of the agency? And we also at this point, thanks Chip for, and our best to the committee, the community as well, send the best that this committee thanks them so much in assisting our parks area at Kauai, but also thanks to all of those in this entire state, because we can't do much without the volunteering of those in communities. We appreciate that as well. Senator Misalucha.
I have a question, Chipper. So
Yes.
You were stating in your testimony that the current way that the council is configured has really been a chore, and I admire the fact that you've been trying to do community engagement despite that. So since that council has not really been functional, how are you circumventing that, and what kind of community engagement have you done to ensure that community input is still properly and appropriately addressed?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and it's been, I'll be honest, it's been super frustrating because I helped recruit community members who put in their names and they were never heard, they were never confirmed. And because I served as the last chair of the council before it became inactive due to no active members, many people have reached out to me over the course of the time, and Huiolaka and the Kokei Leaseholder Association are both existing nonprofits that work up there in Kokei. So they have become really a kind of a clearinghouse for community concerns and involvement. And to further build this relationship, I got myself elected as the president of the Kokei Leaseholder Association in 2019, not realizing a pandemic would kind of change our ability to be effective. But nonetheless, I see both Huiolaka and Kokei Leaseholder Association as two very viable existing opportunities for community to have their voice heard, as well as to volunteer and be active in the park.
So you would see this as merely formalizing what you've already informally instituted?
Yeah, I do. And as I said in my testimony, I believe it's very important to honor the intent of Act 223, which is that we don't want to leave it to chance that state parks should be involved with the community and should be seeking community support and input as they begin to implement the plan and manage the recreational leases. So we are hoping that this bill will be amended to create a voluntary advisory council, not a legislatively appointed one, but still clearly indicating to DLNR that there's a mandate to work with community on these important issues. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. But I'm curious
Okay.
whether this kind of situation is also prevalent in other parks as well.
I think that Kurt could probably answer that better, but I think many parks are in existing communities that are very involved and very passionate about those areas because it's literally their backyard. Not every community has the ability to organize and work effectively, and that's what we found was our success in Hawai'i, and that's also what I'm finding with our organizations at Kokei. They need to be organized to become really effective partners with the state, and so that's what I'm out to do, is really try and help get our local underground organizations more organized and in better communication with the state.
Great. Well, I echo the sentiments of the chair in commending you for
Okay.
your
Thank you.
efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Members, I just want to add that I erred in mentioning that with regards to SB 1180, that we did have late testimonies in opposition, and there were 5 of them as well. I think at this point in time, let's continue on. We'll go into recess now for decision-making. Thank you. The Committee on Water and Land is going into decision-making on its 1 o'clock agenda, February 17th. SB 1404, and this is relating to Hanakahau Small Boat Harbor. Chair's recommendation is to move this and pass it as is. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Senator Ms. Alucha for the vote.
SB 1404, the chair recommends pass as is. For those members present, are there any nays or reservations? Motion is adopted, Chair.
Thank you. SB 572 relating to aquatic resources. Chair's recommendation is to add the DLNR's recommendation for an amendment. And this reflects adding a new subsection in 1878-13 HRS, as well as to the 188-70 HRS, to read as follows. In addition to subsection A, a fine of up to $1,000 may be levied for each specimen of all aquatic life taken, killed, or injured in violation of Title 5 of Title 12 or any rule adopted thereon. Any discussions on this recommendation on SB 572? Seeing, hearing none, Senator Misalucha for the vote, chair goes aye.
For SB 572, Chair recommends pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Senator Agaran. Senator Misalucha votes aye. Senator Rivera is excused. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Motion is adopted, Chair.
Thank you. SB 795, and this is relating to the small boat harbor fees. Chair's recommendation is to pass with DLNR's recommendations, reducing the fee from $3 to $1.50 and includes technical and non-substantive amendments to the measure. Any discussion? Seeing none, Senator Misalucha for the vote, chair goes aye as well.
For SB 795, Chair recommends pass with amendments. For those members present, are there any nays or reservations? Chair, motion is adopted.
Thank you. SB 791 relating to vessels, and this, excuse me, sorry about that. 791, okay, regarding 791 relating to vessels, all there is just to make some technical and non-substantive amendments to the measure. Any discussion to pass with amendments? Okay, seeing none, Senator Misalucha for the vote.
SB 791, recommendation, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. For those members present, any nays or reservations? Recommendations adopted, Chair.
Thank you. SB 1162 relating to forest stewardship. Chair's recommendation is just to pass this with technical and non-substantive amendments to this measure. Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, Senator Misalucha for the vote.
For Senate Bill 1162, Chair recommends pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Senator Agaran. Senator Misalucha votes yes. Senator Rivera is excused. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, the recommendations adopted.
Thank you. SB 1165 relating to ocean recreation and commercial permits. Chair's recommendation is to pass this measure as is. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, for the votes, Senator Misalucha.
For SB 1165, Chair recommends pass as is. Any nays for those members present? Any reservations? Chair, your recommendations adopted.
Okay, thank you. For SB 1180, Chair recommends that this measure be deferred. For SB 1182 relating to the Kokee State Park Advisory Council, Chair recommends that we pass this measure as is, and we'll add into the committee report that hopefully the agency will continue to discuss with the community and add them with regards to continual discussions and working with the group that has been volunteering all these years into the committee report. Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, Senator Misalucha for the vote.
For Committee on Water and Land, as regards to SB 1182, Chair recommends pass as is. For those members present, are there any reservations? Any nays? Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Thank you, members. This concludes Water Land. This is our last hearing for this particular week. Have a nice journey with your other committees as well. Thank you for attending.